Mark your calendars now for February 17th to the 19th, 2026. Because if you miss this, you'll be playing catch up all year. This is the future unbound. And the most important higher ed marketing and enrollment management conference of 2026. Insights EDU is taking over Fort Lauderdale, where Google, Meta, Reddit, MIQ Digital, and top institutions nationwide will pull back the curtain on what's next. Are you ready to adapt or be left behind? Insights EDU 2026 is where leaders become game changers. Register now at insightsedu.com. That's insightsedu.com. Early bird pricing ends December 15th, 2025.
Welcome back, everybody. It's your time to EdUp on the EdUp Experience podcast, where we make education your business. This is Dr. Joe Salustio back with you on another episode, returning after another week-long break. I think I've had a week break, and I do notice even though I podcast every single day, generally, Monday through Friday, when I take 4 or 5 days off, I come back very rusty. And I've got two guests with me, and hopefully they are not going to judge my rustiness today. Before we get to them, I do want to just remind the audience, as I've done many times, but I'm actually adding a couple reminders. If you are not subscribed to the EdUp Experience weekly newsletter, free weekly newsletter, you can go to the EdUp Experience, www.edupexperience.com, and you can subscribe to the newsletter. Every week, we highlight a specific podcast episode that we think is going to resonate with the audience. We put a little summary in there for you to read about the insights and then listen if you'd like. And we also include other media and events going on in and around higher education, potentially where the EdUp Experience will be. And then anybody that's written an EdUp editorial that week will highlight the article and get it out to you. And you might be saying, well, what's an EdUp editorial, Joe? And I would say that's such a great question. An EdUp editorial, as you may have heard me say many times, is a part of our website where we have are publishing articles that our colleagues across higher education write, where they want to say something about their institution, about the programs, a launch, a transformative donation, anything you could think of. But it's got to be good. It's got to be something that's going to give our audience, and I don't mean good writing, because of course, who's going to write it? A bunch of academics and people in higher ed. So I got to assume the writing is going to be good. But I mean, if you want to write an article about how bad everything is in higher ed, go shop it around to journalists who will take that and they'll put an angle to it. If you want to talk about some of the good things happening in higher ed and something you've done and innovative that's going to push your institution forward, we'd like to know about that, and that's what an EdUp editorial is. So sit down with your pen, paper, AI program, or whatever else you use to write these days, and send those to edup@edupexperience.com. And you can catch those also in the weekly newsletter. See how I brought that all the way back around. So enough of the plugging of my own stuff, and Elvin Freites, co-founder of the EdUp Experience. We have two guests with us who are going to give us a lot of information about the work they are doing in higher education. I'm going to bring them in one at a time because I can't get through the titles together all at once. I got to take a breath. So first we're going to have, here she is, Dr. Peggy Heinrich. She is the president at Elgin Community College. Peggy, welcome to an EdUp Mic. How are you?
Thank you so much for having me here, Joe. I'm happy to be here today.
Oh, thanks for saying that, because it gave me a chance to take a breath. I did a lot of talking already. Let me bring your colleague in right now. She is Dr. Anna Marie Chopin. She is VP of Teaching, Learning, and Student Development at Elgin Community College. Thank you both for being here. How are you, Anna Marie?
I am well. Thank you. I'm excited to be here.
Well, let's just level set for the audience, as we do with every podcast episode that we have. And Peggy, I'll go to you first, and then Anna Marie, I'll just ask you to add in anything that you know can enhance what Peggy's saying. But tell us a little bit about Elgin Community College. Where are you? Who do you serve? How do you serve them?
Okay, absolutely. Thank you for the opportunity. So Elgin Community College is one of the community colleges in the state of Illinois. We're in the northwest suburbs. So we serve residents from portions of 5 different counties that are spread over 360 miles and are sort of a mixture of urban and rural communities in our district. We have 4 different public schools in our district, including School District U46, which is the second largest school system when you get beyond the Chicago public schools. We have over 15,000 students a year, and over 70% of our students attend part-time. 37% are first in their families to go to college. 85% work while they're attending school, and 27% are on federal financial aid. 52% of our students are Latinx, so we are designated as a Hispanic Serving Institution, or HSI. We have over 130 certificate and degree programs and corporate continuing education, and we have really 3 locations. We have our main campus in Elgin, a Center for Emergency Services out in Burlington, which is a more rural area, and a joint venture with another community college and a workforce board in the Hanover Park community that's called the Education and Work Center, which maybe we'll talk about a little bit later. We're proud to be designated as a Leader College of Distinction by Achieving the Dream, and we've been in the top 150 for the Aspen Prize several times, and at one point in the top 25. And we're proud of that because we think it demonstrates we're delivering on our mission to improve people's lives through learning and really supporting those students who need it the most. I don't know if I missed anything, Anna Marie.
Anna Marie, anything you want to add?
Well, I don't want to jump too far ahead, but we are growing and really trying to meet the needs of our employers. And so we are in the process of building a 150,000 square foot manufacturing and technology center. So our current programs are just bursting at the seams in our current facility. In our area, 1 in 6 Elginites are employed in manufacturing, and more manufacturers are moving into this district. So we're a real hub of manufacturing. Dr. Heinrich just mentioned we're about 45 minutes outside of Chicago, and we're in the middle of the country. So we are quite a hub for manufacturing.
Amazing.
See, I told you I was going to get one in there for you.
I love it.
Those are excellent.
So, okay, so there's a lot in everything that you get to you, Anna Marie, to maybe talk about it a little bit. Did I freeze up? Did I freeze up right there?
You did freeze up.
All I heard was, Anna Marie, can you talk about it? So maybe
Yeah, Anna Marie,
you could rephrase it.
Yeah, no, it's okay. We leave in all these mistakes and tech problems because if you try to cut them out these days, you just spend so much time editing, right? So we look, these are the challenges that we see in higher ed all the time. We have interruptions, we have challenges, we have to work through them.
Yep.
One of your challenges, and something Peggy said, is you're serving both sort of urban and rural across a huge radius, 360 miles. There are different structural implications, things that you have to have in place where you serve an urban student that you may not need or may not need in the same frequency when you serve a rural student. That means that you have to have, I don't know, a lot of resource spread across different types of programs to serve multiple types of learners. Because you take those two things and you put them together, urban and rural and everything in between, it's just a lot. And there's a lot of variability in those types of students. So can you talk, Anna Marie, maybe about how you think about strategically serving the modern learner that comes with variables across a very wide range of mileage?
Yes. So I think where we are located, we are more suburban. So we aren't as polarized as it may appear. We are more suburban. And I think that one of the biggest challenges that our students face, regardless of where they are sitting in our district, are the financial barriers, the cost to attend college. And so, and Dr. Heinrich, please feel free to jump in at any time. But I think that what we have tried to do, and this is something that is not just specific to this challenge, but in all the challenges, is we try to look at what does the student need? Like, what are the core issues of the student? And really fostering an infrastructure here at this institution where we are able to empower faculty and staff and administrators to dig in and identify strategies to address that challenge. And so, and we support that with resources. We support that with financial resources, human resources, technical resources, making sure we have the right technology. And we have some examples of that. I don't know, Dr. Heinrich, do you want me to start, or do you want to dive into that from a financial perspective?
Yeah, I think if we're focusing on a financial aspect, as an example of that, back in 2011, we knew that we were having a problem with student loan debt and the amount of loan debt that our students were taking out. So back then, it was really just a small scale idea. We started doing this game of life sort of budgeting exercise and learning how to set a budget. And we started requiring one-on-one loan counseling for any student who wanted to take out a loan. They had to meet with a financial aid advisor, and they had to lay out a budget. And the advisor would really challenge them to take out only what they needed and not more than they needed for their classes, because they'd be eligible for so much more than was really necessary.
Let me take out all the money I can. I can go buy myself a manicure and a pedicure and get a car along the way. I mean, that's the way it used to be and how loans were stacking up for students.
That's exactly right. So over the course of those years, that's had such an enormous impact on reducing the amount taken out at the college. So back in 2011, we had over 1,800 students taking out over $6.6 million collectively a year. And now this past year, we had only 331 students taking out just over $1 million for the year. Wow. So again, just that's, in a sense, a small change can have such a large impact. Now, alongside that, we have a partnership with a credit union, KCT Credit Union, where we have a location on our campus in our library, but it's not called a credit union. It's called the Financial Wellness and Empowerment Center. And they're really more than a credit union. They're our partner. And for example, our students partnered with them last year, and they developed a financial literacy advisory board that is student-led. It has representation from college offices and from the credit union. And the credit union pays our students, gives them a scholarship if they serve on the board, $500 a semester. They come up with a variety of workshops and activities for students on campus to increase their knowledge and understanding of finances. And it was their Phi Theta Kappa project last year to launch it, and now it's institutionalized. So it won some awards and things like that. Our students were really at the forefront. So sort of just an example of starting something at a small scale that is now kind of has its tendrils and is fanning out and having a broader impact.
Outstanding.
There's another one for you. What's interesting about you two, you're like, I don't have the best metaphor in my mind, but two superheroes that have been a team for a really long time. I was going to say Batman and Robin, but that doesn't really fit. It's more like Wonder Woman and Wonder Woman, right? I mean,
yeah. Anna Marie called us the other day Thing 1 and Thing 2, so I don't know.
Hey, that's great. Yeah,
maybe we could edit that
out. Little Dr. Seuss reference there.
We've been together a long time.
Yeah.
So I was just doing the math real quickly. If your LinkedIn's are updated, it's been 31 years together between the two of you. One of you's been there for 18 and the other for about 13.
Yeah.
It's 31 years combined experience at the community college, ascending through roles together at different types and different times. Beauty of this. So there's a couple, by the way, Peggy, congratulations to being the first female president in the history of the university. That means something, I think, in this day and age.
Certainly does. Yeah.
But along with that, it comes back to this very key concept that I've talked to presidents about, which is leadership alignment. Alignment in the think-ation. I cut out again, it sounds like, because I'm talking to myself. But your thing 1 and thing 2, I feel horrible saying that, by the way.
Yeah, let's not say
but you said it first.
I did.
You guys are this.
I regret it.
This tag team. How about that? Like a tag team, and you've come up together, and I'm assuming have this unspoken almost alignment in vision. And one of the things, Peggy, over to you, that so many presidents have talked about is the leadership alignment. You're just not going to get anything done unless your key leaders are completely aligned on the strategy. And if not, you're going to fail. Can you talk about the relationship the two of you have had and why that's important to the growth that you're seeing?
I kind of love that topic. So I would say Anna Marie and I, although we can predict each other's thoughts, but we have very different styles. So we just did our Strengths Finder in our cabinet retreat, so it's as fresh in my mind. Anna Marie is like this master strategist, and I think I'm more the communication person, the mediator, the feel-good person, and all about relationships. And we really have balanced each other out well that way. In bringing things to life and being able to bring people along. So, we've been in different roles, and, I think I was vice president at the time. I got to know Anna Marie here at the college and, reorganized over time when there was a vacancy and moved her into a role as assistant vice president. And we worked alongside one another and brought many changes to life, including in that level, right below Anna Marie's position, all of the deans of the college. We had a year just a couple of years ago where we had enormous turnover due to retirements. I want to say 6 or so deans, all within about a year and a half, where we had to go out to search, including Farah, who you met earlier. And now that's happening at the presidential level, at the cabinet level, where really over this past year, 7 out of our 12 cabinet members are all brand new to their seats, and several of them are brand new to the college. So we're really a fresh new leadership team, if you will. But yeah, Anna Marie has been really my key thought partner, and I think we've contributed to each other's success in our positions.
Anna Marie, anything you want to add to that idea of the tag team?
No, I think that's an accurate description of our relationship. I think we have been through COVID together. We have been through, Dr. Heinrich mentioned the turnover in the deans. That was because of an early retirement incentive, but still a lot of change. Yep. And now here we are again in a pretty fluid environment. So having to trust each other and lean on each other. And I think she really sort of sold herself short because I think we both lead with our head and our heart. She might lean into her heart a little more. I might lean into my head a little bit more, but we do complement each other. That is true.
Such an advantage, right? To have the reliability in someone, the years of experience with someone, know how they think. Trust is so important.
I think it's helped us.
Out again, but I was saying that trust is so important. This is going to keep happening apparently on my end here. So go ahead, Peggy.
I was just going to say, I think it's helped us have what I hope feels like a pretty seamless transition with me moving into the presidency, not only because I was an internal candidate, but because Anna Marie moved into that vice presidential slot. And she's been, at the table and by my side in things like faculty negotiations and has a well-established relationship and respect within the division in the college.
And what a great advantage to the new leaders you have, because it probably goes something like this. Anna Marie, the president, I think you know what she's going to say. If I go present this to her, what is she going to say? And then you say something like, what, I would not go with that. I think you need to take more time to think through it. And the person says, what, I'm going to go anyway. I'm just going to see what she says. And then they come back out to you and go, you're absolutely right. That's exactly what she said.
They never come back to me and say that.
But you know what happens. So this, because it's tough. I was at a conference recently this past week just in New York City. Some of the topics that were coming up were funding, right? I mean, funding is tough right now. There are about 100 people in the room representing a number, maybe not 100 institutions, but probably close, 75 or so. And there might have been 2 or 3 that talked about growth, and the majority talking about decline, layoffs, the squeezing enrollment pipe exploding, if I get that right. And it sounds like I cut out again because I see you guys nodding and then nodding again really fast, and agreeing with me. But I was saying that the growth was just seldom talked about. And if you're experiencing growth, it's rare. And what do you attribute it to? Like, what's happening? What's the ingredients that are getting you to growth?
I mean, some is known and some is unknown. So, our enrollment is growing at ECC. It has been consistently growing back since COVID. And now we're higher than our pre-pandemic numbers at the college. Part of our growth is in the area of dual credit, which continues to grow exponentially each year. Part of that growth has been in English as a second language programming as well. I also think that I feel we're doing a good job in connecting with our community. It's a real commitment for us to be sure that we're mindful of helping our entire district know what we have to offer and kind of challenging any assumptions about what the community college is, because it's a place of quality and we want people to know the story. So we're really engaged currently this year in our strategy for our outreach and our connection and how we represent ourselves within our community environment.
Anna Marie, do you hear that? Do you see that from students and hear that from students? There's back in the day, a couple years ago, when COVID happened, there was a sort of resurgence of the community college, maybe not being the whole concept of the 13th grade. And parents, the students would say back in the time, oh, well, my student's just going to go to the community college, as if it was some loss. Now it's shifting to my kid, or I'm going to attend the community college, and I'm going to attack my college journey in a affordable way, because there's quality around me in these community colleges, especially as they have connections to the workforce. What are the students saying? What's that heartbeat on the community college these days?
Well, I can only speak for our students, but not in general.
I don't want you to speak for anybody else, for sure.
So, well, I'm going to answer your question, but I want to add just one thing to what Dr. Heinrich said, and that is, we emphasize in our name the word community as we do college. And I think that is why we have these strong relationships with the employers in our community, with the other community-based organizations, with, parents, adults, our secondary partners. So we really strive to be part of the community. We don't stand on an island. And I think that is felt. There's a vibe here that our students recognize but can't always articulate. So we've had accreditors here, and they interview a student, and one student said, I come here even when I don't have class, just because I like being here. I like the atmosphere. So yes, thank you. We provide our students with an excellent education. Our faculty are excellent. There's no doubt about it. We have phenomenal student supports. We really strive to help our students get apprenticeships and internships and secure employment once they leave. So we have all of that, and this other thing that is really hard to describe, other than it's such a good vibe. There's an energy here that I don't know is really at other community colleges. I don't know.
Well, I want to share that when I came here back in 2007, I used to work for the state agency for the community college system here. So this was one of my programs, one of my colleges I supported. And when I would come to ECC, the student life environment here, the vibrancy of activity in our hub and throughout the college stood out in a different way to me back then than I would experience when I'd go on other college campuses. And it's part of what interested me in this college. I also think that generally speaking, we really foster, I don't want to say this, I at least care to foster an environment where at our leadership levels, we don't have any sense of elitism. I meet with students, I teach, I also am a certified yoga teacher on the side and in my secret life. So I'll teach free yoga classes here and there to students. But what I mean by that is being a part of making sure students know that they can all be leaders, and leaders come in a lot of different shapes and sizes. I'm not sure that I'm a person I ever would have expected to become a community college president. Isn't how I would have seen myself. And here I am, and they can do it too. And I think we all embody that and encourage that in our students. I think they feel like we're all in it together. I hope they feel that way, because I think that for the community college, part of how we're going to survive the enrollment cliff is because of our identity as a community college, because we are a place of connection and human spirit. And I think students are craving that, and I think employees are craving that. Currently, we're a college that doesn't allow remote work. And so part of that is because there's a fear of changing that environment of vibrancy for our students, and our availability to students is a part of that story.
Well, it changes the model too. I mean, it changes the way you deliver, and there's so much to the model. And commitment to a model, I think, is very important, because we're trying to figure it out. And I think it's about value proposition. If part of your value proposition is we're here for you, that is something that you can communicate and market to not only the student, but to the community, right? So I think that's about picking a lane more than it is anything else. So I respect that.
Yeah.
One of the things that you said too, Peggy, and I'm going to ask you, Anna Marie, the question, you have 130 degree and certificate programs. That seems like a lot to manage. How is that broken down? You don't have to give me exact numbers, but is it, 100 degree programs and 30 certificates? Is there like a breakdown in there? And how do you decide what to do and what not to do?
If you think you can coast into 2026, think again. Insights EDU is coming February 17th to the 19th, 2026, and it's taking over Fort Lauderdale for a beachfront experience. It's the event that will flip your marketing and enrollment strategy on its head. 3 days, over 65 expert speakers, and over 40 sessions. Zero fluff. Just powerhouse strategies from the most anticipated platforms like Google, Reddit, Meta, MIQ Digital, and the most forward-thinking schools in the nation. You'll get the real wins, the bold ideas, and the hands-on tactics to grow programs, drive engagement, and create the student experience today's modern learner demands. The question is, are you ready to lead, or will you get left behind? Mark your calendar, bring your team, and secure your spot at insightsedu.com. That's insightsedu.com. Early bird pricing ends December 15, 2025. See you in Fort Lauderdale.
Go ahead, Anna Marie.
Okay. Most of that 130 are either what we call a basic vocational certificate or a vocational certificate, and they stack into each other and then stack into an applied associate of science degree. So that's most of them. We also have the transfer degrees. So the associate in arts, the associate in science, the associate in engineering and science, and the associate in fine arts. So we also have transfer degrees. So it really comes down to need, quality, and cost. Like that's our mantra: need, quality, and cost. And when there is an idea or something is proposed, like, hey, you should offer this program, so on and so forth, we immediately do a feasibility study, and we measure what is the need in the labor market. Is this something that is needed? And then what is the living wage of that occupation? Because we don't want to provide pathways to occupations that aren't at a living wage. So that's something that's very, very important to us. So we look at the need, and then we have a set of criteria. And if it's like, this is something that has there's something here, then we continue with the feasibility study, and we look at the college's ability to sustain a quality program. What's the investment, the cost that would be needed to sustain a quality program if the labor market demonstrates that there is enough of a need that we would get the enrollment, right? So there's this kind of business aspect to it. So that's how we launch programs. Then we do take a look at our existing programs on an annual basis, kind of on those three core things: need, quality, and cost. So from a need perspective, we meet with employers at least annually for all of our programs to make sure that we are keeping ourselves relevant and current. So what is happening in this industry that we need to keep our eyes on? So that informs updates to our curriculum. We look at our enrollment, is enrollment healthy for this program so that we can sustain it? And if not, why not? And so these are the things that we look at every year across all of our programs, so that we can direct our resources to shoring up areas that may need shoring up. And there may be times when, it is time to sunset a program, and we have done that too. And those are hard decisions to make. But if you can sunset a program, that means you have resources for something else that might be needed more. So,
Peggy, when I asked the question, I saw you're looking like you wanted to jump in, and I want you to, because it's very easy. I know, and all of us know, that jump. Oh, it looks like I'm there again. I guess I'm just going to freeze up 24/7. I'll just call me Mr. Freeze. We'll edit those things out, I guess, because it's happening so much. But when you think about what you can do and what you should do, there's a point of making sure your resources go as far as they can go. And so that conversation around what aren't we going to do?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there is.
What aren't we going to do is as powerful as what we are going to do. How do you decide what we're not going to do? How does that come into play?
Yeah. Well, I guess I'd add, outside of evaluating the academic programs, which is what Anna Marie is focusing on in terms of their viability, every year, there's a sea of requests, right? There's the sea of new positions people want for the next year. Are you still there, Joe?
I'm still here. I've decided
Okay,
I'm going to
all
go off video to try to make it so I'm not freezing up 24/7.
That's okay. And, new positions, new projects, new ideas, new initiatives. And we have a process where we have a budget council that kind of reviews everybody's annual budget requests and makes recommendations to the president's cabinet on which things really are aligned best with our mission and our vision and our strategic plan, which things are going to yield the greatest student success and benefit students. And then we kind of engage in that process of prioritizing and, making decisions on what to fund that's within our budget. But also, no matter the constraints and the limitations, we always carve out money to fund new innovative initiatives and have a process for that at the college where faculty and other employees can apply for funding to kind of kickstart something they want to try. And we really try to encourage attempting and not being afraid to fail, those sorts of things. So an example of that would be, there's a couple. One, we started something called the Center for Civic Engagement, which was really a proposal from a faculty member who recognized that increasingly students are disengaging from the political arena, losing faith in the process, not registering to vote, not even understanding how the system works. And so, provided the funding to establish a center and grant some release time to establish a center that, puts students into leadership positions as civic leaders, so that leads to any number of events on campus that are, getting people to register to vote. We had a petting zoo where students could register then to vote at the same time. I know it sounds like a weird connection, but it really worked.
Smart. Yeah, it's super smart, right? You almost get the therapy and then you vote while you're sitting there.
Yeah, it was. There was a chinchilla involved. It was great.
For the vote, it was called.
For the vote.
FUR.
I like it.
And bringing just in a nonpartisan way, lots of legislators to campus, which I think they've loved, to have that opportunity to get up in front of students. And students, I think it's demystifies the process and puts a human face on our legislators. So that's just an example of something that's been a really great success. It's gotten a lot of attention, and that's one. Another is Anna Marie maybe could share some more about it, but we call it the Center for Undergraduate Research, Innovation, and Creativity. I don't know if you want to say a few words about that.
Sure. So 46% of our students intend to transfer to a four-year university. And in looking at that, many universities provide opportunities for their students to engage in research as an undergraduate. But as a community college student transferring to a university, oftentimes you don't have that opportunity available to you. So there was a particular faculty member who said, we can do this. We can provide this opportunity to our students. And so this was a small idea where interested students interested in conducting research would be paired with a faculty member also interested in that topic, and they would embark upon a research project for a year. And there's a small stipend for the faculty and for the student. And I think the very first year it started with four students. And now it has grown to where there's an end of year symposium. We transcript the research experience for the students. So this is something that is documented officially as they're applying for universities. Yes, they can demonstrate that this was an experience. We have students that have published in journals, and the topics on this research range from neuroscience to someone did a study on KISS. I'll have to go on the band.
Yeah.
On the band?
Yes.
Go.
But they're varied. They are solid research. It is fascinating, and it grows year after year. So this is something that started with, wow, this is really an experience, a need that our students should have, they should benefit from. It's like I said, it started with 4 students the first year, and now we can't, we have to put a cap on the number of students we can accept into this program. So it's fantastic.
So I think I wanted to highlight a couple of those things to really say that no matter the circumstance, it's, I think, important in order to keep, morale boosted, keep everybody forward thinking and innovating and staying relevant, you do have to put resource behind that, and you have to support people who want to make a change.
It's important. That conversation actually came up at this conference I was at, where people were asking, how much money do I set aside to get into this kind of stuff? What if somebody has an AI project? How do we fund it? They're just, you have to try to find a way to set some money aside to try and fail and succeed, or else you just don't innovate. And innovation is, now I see a part of your DNA. I'm going to read you both something, and I'd like your reaction to it. Okay?
Okay.
Elgin Community College is constructing a new cutting-edge manufacturing and technology center spanning 150,000 square feet. The facility addresses growing enrollment and expands academic offerings to meet local employers' needs. The MTC will offer vital education and training for manufacturing employers in the Elgin area. It secured $28.5 million in state funding to address the middle skills labor gap, and it's going to be a collaboration hub bringing together students, educators, and local employers, which is a very interesting part, to address the region's workforce needs. Anna Marie, I'll start with you. This is huge for the college. What is this going to mean? What does this mean to you now? What do you think this is going to mean for Elgin Community College going forward?
So I have had discussions with 3 different employers this past week, and the theme in manufacturing employers or manufacturers, I should say. And the theme in every single conversation has been, we cannot find enough skilled, we don't have a skilled pipeline. And so some employers prefer to promote from within, some don't do so much of that, and are looking for external recruitment, help with external recruitment. But the story is the same. And one employer said to me, it's challenging for us to even promote from within because there aren't people behind that person to promote up.
Right.
So we really need to, it is an important foundational element in the economic vitality of this region. Manufacturing is a core element of our economy here. And Elgin Community College need to help our employers find those middle skilled people. That's what we do. That's sort of the business we're in.
Peggy.
Yeah, I just spoke to the economic development. It's called the EDG. Anyway, Elgin Development Group. The other day, who was saying the same thing, that we have so many manufacturers moving into this area every week, every month. It's growing, and they're going to need us. They're going to rely on having a pipeline of trained individuals. And so we're just extremely excited to be able to really branch out, and I'd say even modernize more and kind of like blast into the future in terms of, some employers are not there yet. So we have to offer the whole gamut. We've got to have the programs of the past, the present, and the future to meet the needs of the employers throughout our district. But that's what we're aiming to do. And the engagement from the employer community, they are all reaching out, and we couldn't be more excited about it because it's allowing us to be sure that we understand what it is they are needing so that we're developing programs that answer those problems.
It's a really good opportunity. By the way, if you want to check out what's going on elgin.edu, check out the bit about the center. There's plans in here. There's pictures of how it's going to look, and I love the better learning space for student piece here, because it's it's not a challenge, but sometimes rethinking what exists is harder than creating what doesn't exist. And you get this sort of blank slate in this building. Okay, how are we going to set up this classroom for the modern learner who's coming in, the student that's going to be working with their hands? How are we going to set this up? That has to feel exciting to you. It would be exciting to me, right? To go, what are we going to do here? What do we do with this? For any educator, especially in higher ed, if you've done any kind of teaching and learning or been in that realm, it's an exciting time period to think about how you're going to help shape the future. Anna Marie, just over to you, and how does that feel, and what do you think it's going to look like?
It feels fantastic. This has been years in the making. I think it was years ago. I can't remember exactly which year, but there was a small group of us that kind of went on a journey, and we looked at other schools that were building manufacturing technology centers to figure out what do we want, what would best suit Elgin Community College. And we went to South Carolina, we went to Wisconsin, we went to these different places, and it really informed this end product, because we were able to see, what do we want this to look like? We want it to have things like natural light. I think in manufacturing, the manufacturers, we are fighting that stereotype that manufacturing is a dirty job, right? Well, it's not like that anymore. A lot of these places you could, eat off the floor. They're very clean, pristine, high tech.
Yeah, big time. AI is making its way into manufacturing. Yep. It's like one of the first places that showed itself. Exactly.
So we went on this journey. We did our homework. We looked at other places. We asked them what's worked. If you could do it again, what would you change? And we learned from all of these facilities and informed what our facility would look like. And so it's very exciting to watch it go up.
Peggy, I want to give you a chance because I know you want to opine on this, but this is part also of your legacy. First woman president in the history of the institution. This building will be built in your time. It's a glimpse into the future, much like your presidency, coming in and being the first woman president. It all sort of feels destined a little, doesn't it?
It does. And I think because my background coming up was really in adult education and kind of the workforce development side of the house. So for me, I'd like to see people who need jobs get good jobs that can lead to a better future for their families and for our community. And that's what this center is going to make possible, and also for our area businesses. So it'll be it's the largest and most expensive building, I think, here in terms of construction. I mean, even though you shared what we received from the state, really this project is over $80 million when you look at this building and the backfill of the building they're coming out of. And it's a huge investment that has a lot of different parties contributing, a lot of people with a stake in this. We're infusing ourselves as a college into things like economic development councils in new ways, so that we're really at the forefront, because it seems like it's just a changing landscape every day in terms of what's going to be needed.
And it's green building too. You got a grant to make the building green. I mean, so there's sustainability efforts involved. It really is cool. That's all I had to say. I went on the website and checked it out. It's just really cool.
Yeah, I can't speak very deeply about this, but there's what is it called, Anna Maria? Solar array, where there's a shipping container that's converted so that the students can practice sort of that solar energy on this unit, and it's external to the building. Some really neat features, I think, are going to be set it apart.
Well, we're coming close to our time, but I want to give you guys a chance to open it up for us. Anna Marie, just start with you. What else do you want to tell us about Elgin Community College that you wanted to say that I didn't ask you? Anything that's maybe even just top of mind?
Wow. Well, in summary, I might say that the examples we provided, and, kind of this is sort of more from a leadership culture perspective, that, we don't wait to have the perfect plan. We certainly use evidence and data to inform what we're going to do, but I think we begin with a strategy. And I think the operative word is we begin. We begin with a strategy. We begin to implement. We sort of measure impact and progress. And if we have to change course, that's okay. If it doesn't work out, that's okay. We learn from that too. But sometimes those little things that we start just grow exponentially and have such a huge impact on our students. So that's all I'd have to say about that.
And Peggy, last word to you. What else do you want to say about ECC that is top of mind?
Yeah, and maybe a focus that didn't come up as much that I want to emphasize is that we really invest in ECC also in all of the district residents that need our services. So we invest a lot of support into areas like adult education. I didn't really elaborate on the Hanover Park Education and Work Center, but that's a non-revenue generating building that we share with another community college, Harper College, and a workforce board. So sometimes it's not all about the revenue, I think is what I'm trying to say. And it's kind of looking as a community college, our mission is to serve everyone wherever they're at in this district. And I think we do that well, and we can do that while still maintaining our quality, our innovation. And again, we just want to dispel all myths, get the rumor broken. This is the best place to start, and it's not just to save money. It's the best place to start anyway.
Ooh, I don't think I have anything to add to that. That's called a mic drop moment is what that's called. Other than the fact that my internet stinks and I kept cutting out, I hope you guys had a good time talking about ECC and the great work that you're doing here on EdUp.
We had a great time. This was a lot of fun. Thank you so much for having us.
All right, here we go. Let me see if I can get it right on the way out. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Peggy Heinrich, President of Elgin Community College, and Dr. Anna Marie Chopin, VP of Teaching, Learning, and Student Development. And you've just EdUp'd.
Attention, higher leaders. It's time to shake up your marketing and enrollment strategy. Join us at Insights EDU, February 17th to the 19th, 2026 in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, for a beachfront experience and the best higher education marketing and enrollment management conference. Early bird pricing ends December 15th, 2025. Register now at insightsedu.com. The future unbound is at Insights EDU 2026.